Hey Anya, it's me, and welcome to a very special Friday edition of the Poetry Project. I have decided, since I've been spending so much time lately editing and reshooting bits and taking out my ums and all of that stuff, I have decided to do this Friday's Poetry Project all in one take. Since it's a special edition, might as well make it really special. And speaking of special, you made me read Emily Dickinson this week, which was really interesting. I vividly remember the conversation we had while I was doing my GREs. I called you in frustration because I just couldn't make sense of Emily Dickinson, and you really presented her to me in a way that spoke to me, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting it, and I felt like I understood her better after our conversation, so thank you for that. I just got back from, see, that would have edited that out. I just got back from Montreal and I spent some good time with Emily this week, including thinking about why I didn't like her to begin with. Because there's not very many poets that I don't like. I mean, of course, I make fun of the modernists because they're asking for it. But yeah, and I think it really has to do with the way that she rhymes. I feel like I felt like she'd often set me up to expect a rhyme and then deliver it in a way that I wasn't expecting, with an elliptical rhyme or an I rhyme or some other kind of rhyme, but not the rhythm kind of bounces along usually, and hers doesn't bounce along. It feels like it's going to, but then it doesn't. And I think I found that frustrating. But it was really good for me to spend some time with her this week, and since her poems are pretty short, I've decided that I'm going to read two of them to you. So the first one is classic Emily Dickinson. It is called This Is My Letter to the World. This is my letter to the world that never wrote to me, the simple news that nature told with tender majesty. Her message is committed to hands I cannot see, for love of her, sweet countrymen, judge tenderly of me. And that's so nice. Like, why didn't I appreciate that before? I guess this one does kind of have a bouncing along kind of rhyme scheme. But yeah, just so nice. Like, there's so much stuff happening in those lines, and it's so simple but so profound. Like, yeah, this is my letter to the world that never wrote to me. It just gets at something about the truth of the human condition. Yeah, it's actually really good. Like, I actually really like it. Judge tenderly of me. I have not judged tenderly of Emily Dickinson in the past, but I hope it's not too late, and I would like to start. Yeah, so the second poem really makes me happy. It really makes me happy. Hopefully it will also make you happy. It is called In a Library. A precious mouldering pleasure 'tis to meet an antique book, in just the dress his century wore, a privilege, I think, his venerable hand to take, and warming in our own, a passage back or two to make, to times when he was young. His quaint opinions to inspect, his knowledge to unfold, on what concerns our mutual mind, the literature of old. What interested scholars most? What competitions ran, when Plato was a certainty, and Sophocles a man? When Sappho was a living girl, and Beatrice wore the gown that Dante deified? Facts, centuries before, he traverses familiar, as one should come to town, and tell you all your dreams were true. He lived where dreams were sown. His presence is enchantment. You beg him not to go. Old volumes shake their vellum heads, and tantalize just so. Again, like, such a nice poem. I particularly love the lines, and I'm going to read them again because I really like them. I particularly like the lines, what interested scholars most when competitions ran, when Plato was a certainty and Sophocles a man. Which I just love because studying these old texts, but any literature really, I sometimes lose sight of the fact that these were people who wrote things, instead of canonized works of literature that have always existed in a kind of golden halo of amazingness. That Marlowe, especially Marlowe, I'm like getting down with Marlowe these days, that he was a person. He was a person who wrote stuff. Like, same with Same with Emily. As you know, she was a recluse and an introvert. She spent pretty much her whole life in Amherst, Massachusetts. And yeah, like, it's hard to think of famous writers, canonized writers, as people who wrote things, especially canonized things, I don't know, I'm used to the idea that they just popped into existence all at once, like perfect and complete. But that's not the truth, is it? So yeah, these lines make me happy. When Sophocles was a man, he was a guy. He was somebody's neighbor. And yeah, so I'm really digging the Emily Dickinson. Yeah, I think that without you and without our poetry project, I probably would not have gone back to Emily Dickinson. So if nothing else comes out of this poetry project for me, I'm really glad that it happened because Emily is actually really cool. And yeah, it helped a lot once I stopped trying to make her rhyme the way that I wanted her to rhyme, and instead let her rhyme the way that she rhymes, which I'm sure there's a great life lesson in there for me somewhere. But anyway, Christmas is coming up and I am feeling sentimental, so I thought I would inflict my sentimentality on you. For next week, Anya, I would love to hear one of your favorite poems. Preferably a poem that comes with a strong memory or, some kind of story or, yeah, something that you feel, I guess, sentimental about. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for my day with not Anya, Emily Dickinson. And also check out my cool shirt. What's up with that shirt? So cool. Just had to show you that. Okay, I'm gonna let you go and I'll see you on Thursday.